on
would you like to
infrastructure, but
see?
can I quickly follow up on your comment on Governor Cuomo? Can you really say that he has done a quote hell of a job if he's accused of sexually harassing women?
Look, you asked two different questions. I asked the substantive, should he remain as governor, is one question. And women should be believed when they make accusations that are able to, on the face of them, make sense and investigate it. They're investigated, and the judgment was made that what they said was correct. That's one thing. The question is, did he do a good job on infrastructure? That was the question. He did.
The question was, how did he do as a governor?
No, the question was, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, how was he as a governor general?
Well, the governor generally, obviously,
outside of his personal behavior.
outside of his personal behavior. Okay.
But can you separate the two?
No, I'm not. I was asked a specific question.
Okay.
I'm trying to answer specifically. What do you want to ask me specifically?
Kaitlan Collins of CNN had a great moment yesterday when she refused to let President Biden off the hook when he said that Andrew Cuomo in some ways was a great governor. As the video shows, the back and forth catches Biden off guard and shows that the president still has admiration for the soon-to-be former governor. I'm Caroline Johnson. Thanks for watching. So what's important here is that Biden is saying he can separate who Cuomo is personally from his impressive record as a legislator. It's no surprise Biden was eager to shuffle off this question by muddying the waters, stumbling, and then moving on because, as we know, there is a credible history of his own problematic behavior towards women. In 2021, are we still giving serial, powerful harassers the privilege of relegating their abuses to just a part of their much larger personality? It's a trend in these type of stories, how we talk about typically white men in power as opposed to the other alleged perpetrators, notably poorer people and those of color. While the abusive behavior tends to define those marginalized people with permanent impacts on their careers and lives, when it's a white man in power, it's simply a part of them, but not indicative of their whole character. This also happens to victims. Lindsey Boylan, one of Cuomo's first accusers to go on the record, will always be known as that, a Cuomo accuser with no mention of her professional expertise. But Cuomo gets to at least be praised by the president as a great mayor as far as the infrastructure of New York is concerned. Shifting gears a little, the dichotomy between the consequences Democrats face after such accusations and the relative free pass Republicans seem to receive has many frustrated and angry, particularly when it comes to everyone's least favorite congressman, Matt Gaetz, embroiled in his own scandal. Liberals were among the most angered by what they view as a double standard. But here I'd like to beg the question, do you actually care about the ramifications of sexual violence, or do you just care about how it affects your political party? Obviously, Gaetz should resign, but Gaetz shouldn't resign because Cuomo did. He should resign because he's very likely committed serious sexual crimes. It's frustrating to see liberals frame the Gaetz drama as a tit for tat rather than a problem with the toxic behaviors of the communities that elected him and still support him. Republicans don't care about sexual assault transgressions, so the flinging back and forth of, well, Cuomo did it, so now you have to, isn't gonna do anything besides stoke the fires of the culture war. Again, it doesn't mean there shouldn't be pressure on them to resign, but using Cuomo's resignation in order to strike back at Republicans to me feels so disingenuous. We should be reckoning with where we see this type of behavior in our own lives, how we can stand up for victims of sexual assault in our own communities, and share victim stories instead of continuing to stoke this ridiculous partisan fire. As I mentioned in my last video, misogyny doesn't take a political side. The only difference is that one party demands accountability in the face of sexual assault and the other doesn't. But let's not forget how much pressure it took for Cuomo to step down. It's obviously great, but these official allegations surfaced last December, and it's pretty obvious he resigned because President Biden, former President Obama, and other prominent liberals indicated it was time for him to go. Could that be why liberals are so eager to fling this right back onto Republicans, so we don't look too closely at the fact that his resignation is likely more political than moral? As President Biden shows, it's a good strategy for people with skeletons in their own closet. Thanks so much for watching. You can follow me on all platforms at Caro Johnson 917.